welcome to Canadian Football League Weekly from Canada, Vancouver. We're on the 14th floor of our hotel overlooking the stadium right behind us. We just got back from the game itself. What an experience this has been. We've been here since last Wednesday. Here it is Sunday night. We're flying back to the States tomorrow morning. Just had a wonderful time. The town was great. All the fans that we met were great. This is, I've never been to a Super Bowl, but this was a fans' party.
Yes, it was.
Every team was represented. Their fans came. They wore their colors. They wore their face paint. They wore their wigs, whatever they normally wear to a game. They did all that, and they represented all their teams in the Grey Cup. What was it? 52,000.
52,000. You got the numbers on your phone.
I don't have it.
It was awesome. It was a big old party. Everybody was having a good time. Didn't matter what team you're rooting for, but I think the rule was if you were an East Division team, you're rooting for the Argos. If you're a West Division team, you're rooting for the Blue Bombers.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great people. Didn't matter. Like if we had Blue Bombers fans, everybody was super chill, super nice to everybody, and everybody got to cheer for their team. Nobody was a jerk. It was awesome. Nope. It was a great time. But so we've tackled every week of the Canadian Football League season. Here we are, the final game of the 2024 campaign, the 111th Grey Cup game. Dad, why don't you go? We don't have a script prepared. We're kind of just doing it off the cuff.
Yeah.
The game just got done. Well, let's just talk about the game.
Yeah. The game started out really slow. It was a defensive struggle at the beginning. It was 10-9 at halftime.
Yes, it was.
Winnipeg was up by a single point. There's only one touchdown. The rest of those were field goals. And then the second half started with a rouge. So it was 10-10. It really didn't get exciting. It's kind of boring, actually, through the first three quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, there were a couple of interceptions. There were a lot of interceptions in this game.
Yes, there were.
I can bring up the stat here in a minute. But, my gosh, there's so many interceptions on both sides. Running games weren't working that well for either team. Passing games weren't working that well.
It was a very sloppy game.
Yes.
I would say after the Jonas Brothers came on and performed at halftime, that's when everything took off. Which I kind of felt like the second half was going to be where everything was. That was going to be where everything was going to happen. It just felt like that. Like, okay, it was a pretty boring, pretty kind of little back and forth. Like for a minute, like momentum would be with the Argos. They went up 3-0. Then the Blue Bombers took the lead 7-3. Then they kicked a field goal to go up to 10-3. Then the Argos kicked a couple field goals to get down by 1. So it wasn't a super exciting half. Zach Calero seemed a little off his game, but that Argos defense, I guess, is the story of this game. They played their butts off, and it was weird that Winnipeg didn't give didn't give Brady Oliveira the ball as much. He had like one great run up the middle. Otherwise, the Argos defense shut down the best player in the CFL this past year, which was a bit of a shock. Nick Arbuckle stepping in as the starter for Toronto did an admirable job. He had a couple of mistakes, but his defense, I think, bailed him out a couple of times. And then I think he made a couple of absolutely killer throws to kind of help Toronto. That's why he gets the MVP and winning the game. Yeah. He was 26 of 37 for 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not a bad day for him.
Yeah, I think he did in this game exactly what he did last week when he had to fill in for Chad Kelly. He did just enough to secure the win. Nothing fancy, he had his struggles, but last week he threw just enough passes to win the game and keep the ball away from Montreal, and he did the same thing tonight.
Yeah.
So, MVP of the game. Kadeem Carey, the running back for Toronto, had 15 carries for 79 yards and a touchdown. Nick Arbuckle also ran twice for 11 yards. Let's see, receiving, Dijon Brissett had 3 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown.
He was your most outstanding Canadian of the game. Good for him.
Yep. Scroll down a little bit to see some of the other stats or whatever.
Okay, well, while you do that, so on the other side of the ball, Randy's going to look at some more stats. But on the other side of the ball, Zach Caleros kind of looked off all game. Then at some point in the third quarter, I think he went out with a cut finger.
Yes.
He went out for a series or so and then came back and that's kind of, I think, the real tipping and turning point of this game. He threw a very critical interception, like right away. One of his first plays back. With the glove on his hand.
Yep. Had a glove on.
And Toronto that defense just swarmed and made the plays, and that was the difference here. So what other stats you want to go over?
Just Lyram Hyrila, who was 4 for 4 on field goals, his longest one.
He was pretty good. He took a lick there at one point too.
Yeah, he got run into.
Yeah, he was limping a little bit, but he finished it out.
Yeah, he limped down the field, kicking that field goal or an extra point, and then he limped back off the field.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's go to Winnipeg stats.
So what was Caleros on the day?
Caleros, he was 15 of 30 for 202 yards, no touchdowns, and 4 interceptions.
4 interceptions. That's right. I think I saw a stat on X that said in the last 3 Grey Cups for Zach Caleros, he has not thrown a touchdown pass, and he has thrown a total of 6 interceptions. That is not good getting to the Grey Cup. As good as Caleros usually is all season long, just hard to call yourself a dynasty Winnipeg when this is how you play in the big game. What was Oliveira there? He was 11 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. Oliveira, and that touchdown, I mean, kind of came in garbage time. Toronto was just playing, soft defense, and Oliveira just, got his at the end. I'm glad he got in the end zone, being the best player this year. But for the most part, he had that 35-yard run was his big play of the day too. But other than that, I mean, they kind of kept Brady Oliveira contained, and that was a big sticking point for that Toronto defense. I think the other end, and you can pull up Lawler's stats. I feel like I barely heard Kenny Lawler's name.
Yeah, two receptions for 27 yards.
Man, see, so that's another problem. But who was that leading? I can't read the.
Ontario Wilson had 5 receptions for 99 yards, no touchdowns, receiving. He led receivers.
So yeah, very uncharacteristic for the way Winnipeg's been playing lately. But
for the whole team. But
Toronto just seems to be their bugaboo. It seems to be the one thing that they just couldn't get past this season. They had that nice stretch there at the end where what they say they won 8 of 12 or 9 of 12 there at the end, and including playoffs.
They had the 8-game winning streak, and then they lost 1 or 2 towards the end.
But a few of their losses along that streak came to these Argos, and
right, yeah, they lost to them twice during the regular season.
And by no means am I saying did Toronto were they the best team this year. I mean, clearly since they won the Grey Cup. But Toronto, we've said it all year. If you followed our show, Toronto's been an up and down team. They'd go on a hot streak, then they'd be cold. Definitely going through quarterbacks at a few points this year. But Winnipeg, started off 0. We talked about this every week. It seems like they started off 0-4, 2-6 at one point. Then they go off on the 8-game heater, and we thought they were the Winnipeg team that could, seal up this Grey Cup this year. And once again, they fall to Toronto in the big game. So, yeah. I mean, that's a tough one. But I mean, if you're the Argos, that's 2 out of 3. Does the dynasty talk now turn to Toronto? Who that's 3 and 6 years for Toronto winning the Grey Cup. So, so sorry, Winnipeg, no more dynasty talk for you. Now we got to talk. Is it Toronto dynasty time? I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to get a new hat. get the 2024 version.
Yeah, the only stat here, Sergio Castillo, the kicker for Winnipeg. 3 for 3 on field goals. Longest one was 40 yards. So, yeah, I mean, this whole week has been really, really great. We had so much fun. We met so many nice people, a lot of fans from all over the country. Everybody was really, really nice to us. We got invited to, what was that, silent auction.
It was a CFL fighting cancer.
Yes.
We have the business card somewhere. I don't remember the name of the top of my head. It was great. Every event we went to, and we're going to definitely have another video go up of our whole trip. It's just, I've been swamped here. This might be the only video I upload on the trip, is this little video here with minimal effects and stuff. But we just wanted to say, what a season for the CFL. We've loved covering it every week. It's been a labor of love, and to get to this point where we could actually be here at the BC Place is right there. That's the thing out the window. It was a lot of fun, and I mean, I know it's in Winnipeg next year. I don't know if we'll go. I mean, never say never, but for being our first Grey Cup, I definitely want to come back. To me, this is like a music festival I go to every year. But instead of folk music and hippies, it's football and a bunch of nice Canadians. And it was a lot of fun. Everybody was great. Got a little attention because of the Lions. I wore my Detroit Lions because the Lions played today too.
Yep.
So, but never once did I wave from rooting for the Argos, but everybody was cool. We got to see the Grey Cup. Again, we'll have a video coming of our whole trip sometime this week when we fly back. It's going to be a hectic 24 hours for us just getting back to the States and getting back into the groove.
Yeah. I was afraid you were going to start the Jared Goff chant.
I wanted
at
to.
the Grey Cup.
I wanted to so bad.
And we didn't know if we'd see anybody else wearing any other stuff. A guy sat
One.
right in front of us that was wearing a New York Giants jersey.
So he had a Josh Allen Bills jersey.
Sorry, Bills jersey.
There were some NFL jerseys. We did see an Aiden Hutchinson jersey on the Jumbotron.
On the Jumbotron, yeah. I saw whose hat was that? Seattle Seahawks and a New York Jets hat.
There was quite a few NFL stuff, but I mean, obviously for the most part, it was all CFL.
Sure.
It was great to see all the teams represented. I know we're running. We wanted to keep it around 10 minutes. Anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
It really bothers me that we have such a great time up here. Folks in the States don't know anything about the CFL. They are missing out on a lot. This was a great experience. It's just really cool that everybody comes together for this Grey Cup game every year in a different city. People have been here, 10 years in a row, 15 years in a row?
We met a guy who was here 20, 30 years in a
Yeah.
row. So hats off to them. Those people who come every year, regardless if their team's in it or not.
Right.
In the Grey Cup, what we've learned, I think the biggest thing is the Grey Cup is much more than the championship game for two teams. It's a celebration of the CFL and bringing 9 teams together. And hopefully 10. Get your act together. Let's get some schooners up in this. But, we'll see. It's a lot of fun. I definitely don't think this will be our last Grey Cup. I can't say we'll be back again next year. It'll be hard, our schedules.
Right.
And
maybe if it comes
travel.
a little closer, like Hamilton or Toronto in the next 2 years.
Never say never, though. If we get invited, I mean, CFL, give us a ring.
But this was just an awesome experience. It was your idea to come here because they had a dome stadium, so we wouldn't be out in the snow and cold.
And the weather was actually not too bad.
The weather was really nice up here this week. A little rainy here and there. There's like a little flooding in front of the hotel right now that we had to walk around some puddles of water. But it was great. The people were great. The game was great. The hotel was great. I mean, everything was great. We had so many food places right up and down the street here. We ate at a pizza place twice. It's right across the street. So it's just an awesome trip. Look for our travel log coming up because we've got all kinds of videos and pictures that we're gonna work on that. So, or you're gonna work on that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much doing, I think. and I never got adjusted to the time change here.
No.
They're 3 hours behind Eastern Standard Time, and it's been kicking our butts every day and every night. We're up 2 o'clock in the morning thinking it should be daytime.
Yeah.
But great time. Anything else?
Hit the like button, subscribe, all that stuff. Well, obviously, the CFL stuff is done. We'll see what we do next year. I don't know if it'll be weekly videos like this or if we're going to change our format. We're going to figure that out before we get to the CFL season. We appreciate everybody who supported us and that we met. If you're watching us after you met us at the Grey Cup, hi. Good to see you guys again. And the last thing I'll say before we turn the camera off is that if you are going to the Taylor Swift concert here in a few weeks, get the Hampton Inn Suites. The hotel's right across the street.
Literally.
It's great.
Across the street.
It's great. I can't recommend this enough.
All right. For Randy Snow and Adam Snow, thanks a lot for watching this season. We had a great time covering it. And literally, we were right about on the 55-yard line with our seats this year. So that wasn't just a slogan. It was the truth. We sat down. I think I was on one side of the 55, and you were on the other side.
It's like you manifested it. With all your talk all season long, you manifested it.
Well, I had an idea where my tickets were. Anyway, I didn't realize they were quite that close. But, yeah, we were literally on the 55-yard line. So just a great experience. And we'll see you all down the road.